Assalamualaikum and have a good day to my honorable judges and my respected fellow viewers. My name is Nur Hizami bin Hassin. I am from Faculty of Earth Science, University Malaysia Kelantan. Here I want to present a research finding for the Conference of Tropical Resources and Sustainable Science 2.0 with the title of study is about the local community's willingness to pay for conservation of ecotourism resources at Glam Forest, Kelantan, Malaysia. Here my presentation outline, starting with the introduction, research background, research problem, followed by objective, methodology, result discussion, and lastly, draw with the conclusion. For the introduction, mangrove and glam forests are the two main wetland ecosystems exist in Malaysia. The formation of these two ecosystems is influenced by geomorphological features of the beach. Why this study focus on the glam forest? Okay, so glam forest is a unique wetland ecosystem dominated by Melaleuca kaju putih. It is a native to Australia, Peninsular Malaysia, Thailand, and Singapore. It's locally known as a kayu putih according to the Gieson 2015. This plant has many economic potential as the kajeput oil from the leaves have medicinal and insecticide properties. Glam forest is also reflective by the biodiversity of this ecosystem. Within the glam forest ecosystem, it has very beneficial as the production of the stingless bee honey is a commercial popular product. For the research background, glam forest significantly has a unique biodiversity composition which is not found in other areas. The flora is composed of plants that can withstand extreme conditions, and these plants have secondary metabolites for the adapting to the condition and for the defense purposes. Hypothetically, due to high floristic composition in the forest, it is expected that fauna dependent on nectar, pollen, and insect will be more abundant in this forest. This unique biodiversity has high Therefore, this unique biodiversity has high potential for ecotourism that has yet to be explored and promoted in especially Malaysia. Meanwhile, local communities will be part of important attributes that contribute to the promoting of the new area as ecotourism destination. For this study research problem is about the conservation this forest for the future. Recently, in Kelantan and Terengganu, this forest is under threat due to conversion to other land uses, especially for development. This study is conducted by Lim and Shukari 2001. In addition, the remaining glam forest can be found in Pasir Putih and Bachok only, according to the Kumari and Kavanagh 1990. Nevertheless, University Malaysia Kelantan is a privilege as a large tract of land in Bachok consisting of glam forest and has high potential to be used for research, teaching, and ecotourism activities. Moreover, locals not really aware about the existence of this unique forest that has big potential for ecotourism segment. So, the research objective is to estimate the willingness to pay among the local community for the conservation of ecotourism resources in UMK Glam Forest. For the methodology, start with the study area. Glam Forest was located in the province of Bachok district, adjacent to the University Malaysia Kelantan Bachok campus. This study is according to by Nur Ashikin et al. 2020. This is the only remaining site that still exists after the Pasir Putih, which contain high potential to be used for research, teaching, and ecotourism activities. There are 5 randomly selected subdistricts at varying distance, range between 1 km until 10 km of the local residential area outside the glam forest that involved in this study. The subdistrict of Pachok selected are Beris Lala, Kandis, Jelawat, Gunung and Kuala Melawi, which is nearby to the Gelam Forest. For the data collection, the preliminary visit was conducted at the area of the study to acquire permission from related authorities and village leaders, and also to gather information process at their district. So the purpose of preliminary visit here is to request assistance, their assistance in identifying the designated respondents. The data collection process used is a face-to-face interview. The survey was conducted in the 5 randomly selected communities nearby the Gelam Forest from July to August 2017. The total of 200 respondents were participated in the study, with 40 respondents from each community were randomly selected from marketplaces, houses, and community centers. The respondents chosen only 18 years and above in order to avoid bias in data collection process, according to the Michael and Evin 2014. Potential respondents were approached and asked if they were willing to participate in this study. In this study, the survey was conducted by trained and experienced enumerator, which was monitored by the research team. A structured, close-ended question were used for the survey technique. For the data analysis, the single bounded dichotomous charge contingent valuation (DCCV) model was applied to examine the data. There are two possible results identified: either respondent is not willing to pay for the bid level offer, or the respondent is willing to pay for the bid level offer. Meanwhile, the bid price is dependent variable, where 1 equal to yes and 0 equal to no in response to the hypothetical referendum question. Hence, the equivalent willingness to pay or WTP measures were calculated using logic regression model at mean price and income level. For the software used in this study is LIMDAP, okay, to calculate the actual value of local willingness. About the contingent valuation method, this method is a valuation based on the questionnaire that offers the respondent on an opportunity to make an economic decision on a goods and services which no market exists yet, according to Endeleu et al. 2018. This CVM is chosen in this study because this method can measure non-use value or values that are not traded in the market. There are basically 3 parts in CVM, as shown by Carson et al. 2001 as follows. First, presentation of hypothetical market and the scenario under which the good or services is offered. 2, question for the respondent to elicit his or her willingness to pay. 3, third, question for the respondent to relate his or her willingness to pay to the socio-economic and demographic characteristics. For the research result, as informed earlier, a total 200 questionnaires were administered in the survey analysis. Okay, the characteristics selected for discussion include age, gender, education level, type of profession, nationality, place of origin, and monthly household gross income. According to the gender, most respondents involved in this study are male rather than female or women. This is due to the women have been absent when interviewers approached while conducting a survey. Hence, less than half of respondents, about 33.5%, are single, and 66.5% are of locals are married. Of respondents are married. There are only 2 different races involved in this survey, which is Malay and Indian, as residential area mostly comprised as Malays, 98.5%, rather than other races such as Indian. Next, we can see that majority, about 31.5% of the respondents are in the 21 until 30 years age group. Okay, so this study shows that Actually, the ecotourism is a useful activity for the younger generation. The study also found that majority of the respondents from the local community has high level of education. It can be expressed by 36.0% respondents have studies at university. Alright. And next, for the research result, table 2 is about the willingness to pay. About 99 or 49.5% out of 2,000 respondents indicated their willingness to pay for the given bid. Meanwhile, 101 respondents of 50.5% are not willing to pay at the suggested price. Has a reason. First, because of they have lack of knowledge about the significance of future benefit of Glam Forest. Second, the respondent stated lack of confidence on the development of Glam Forest as an ecotourism destination. Practically, on the first bid level, value of RM2 is given to the respondent. Approximately 60.5% of the respondents are willing to pay, and only 3.5% indicated not willing to pay. However, when a given bid level increases to RM10, more respondents are not willing to pay, while only small percentage of respondents are willing to pay for the given bid level. This study proved that the characteristic of response by the locals in parallel with the theory of willingness to pay in previous literature. Theoretically proved that this study proved that the majority of local community around the area of Glam Forest was accepted and agreed that ecotourism development will benefit the economy of life, and also will preserve the valuable resources in the Glam Forest as aesthetic value in the. For the logic regression result, the binary logic regression used to test if there was a significant difference in the variable of the socio-economic factors and to provide further information about the independent variable which influence willingness to pay. And we found that all the parameters statistically show significant value at 1% level. The goodness of fit test for the regression is indicated by R-square, Pseudo R-square with 0.2590, while the percentage of correct prediction is 75.12%. This analysis shows that the results are satisfactory. As expected, the coefficient for price is negative, which implies that higher bid result to less probability of respondents that are willing to pay at the level of bid. Overall, the result regression analysis for the logic analysis have came out that WTP for protection of ecotourism resources at Glam Forest is Ringgit Malaysia 4.2% per head per year. For the conclusion, I can conclude that Glam Forest Conservation Initiative nearby UMK were feasible for the ecotourism development in future. This is shown by the willingness to pay from the respondent from the local community that participated in this study is about RM4.20 in this study. Hence, the financial resources from the willingness to pay that local community stated might be used for the conservation as a fund for the maintenance purposes regarding to the ecotourism activities provided. And lastly, the finding in this study might be contributed to the land use planning and design properly of nature-based recreation that meets societal demand. That's all from me. Thank you for your time and attention.